how do you deal with it when things still go wrong and it's not something that you're doing and it feels unfair and it's like, this sucks. But if you see a story that if this guy hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago could deal with this and handle this, then maybe I can handle it too. What's up, everybody? Now you can hear me. It's your boy, StephenMotivate, back again with another Journey episode. We've been talking about mindset recently. We've been talking about, having an excellent mindset, having an excellent spirit. And I used the Bible verse to walk through that a bit last time. And so I want to talk to you today about how the Bible has helped me as a businessman, how studying the Bible is a hack for me, a business hack for me in my life. So let's get into it today. But before we do, remember to like, comment, subscribe, look at the links that we have in the bio, check out some of our other videos. We're all about trying to help you on this journey of entrepreneurship, of becoming successful, making good financial decisions. And a lot of this content that we've put out is it's going to be helpful to you, but you got to sit down, check it out, and really, really dive into it. And if it is helping you, we want you to share it with some other people too, so they can be helped as well. So let's get into it. Some of you may not know, some of you may know, but one of my business secrets is to study the Bible. So this is something that I've been doing. I've been doing it for a long part of my life, but I've really been doing it consistently for, I don't even know how long. But there's this app that you can get on your phone called YouVersion. Most people know it, I guess, as the Bible app now. A lot of people have it, but it's from a company called YouVersion, where you can get a lot of different translations of the Bible. It lets you highlight it, read through it, etc. It's especially when it first came out, it was pretty cool. It's a great way to go about making the Bible more accessible to folks. And so my brother, who you've probably seen at this point, by the time this comes out, you'll probably see us have some talks about spiritual things and why those things are important to us. But he was very influential in me starting to read the entire Bible through every year. And so it was something he was doing. And like I told you, the people you get around will affect and influence your behavior. So I was talking to him, he was doing it. I said, well, let me try that. That's interesting. Never thought about doing that. And this app really makes it easy to do so. So started doing that, been doing that for a few years. And this year, then I stopped for a while, and I'll talk about that on a different episode. But this year in particular, I've been reading through the Bible, but I've been doing something different. I've been taking a lot of notes as I read, to make sure not only I'm retaining it, but it's also fun. The different concepts you can get from reading this old, ancient text, the different things that will come to you, and spiritually, things that will help you through your day-to-day, with your mind, all of that. And so I want to encourage you guys, if even if you're not a Christian, it's still a book. Like I'm not even telling you to believe it right now. I believe it. Maybe you might want to believe it, but that's your choice. But I think you'll find that there are some very cool principles in this book that it relates to, just making good decisions in general. When you're reading this ancient text, you'll see different examples of good behaviors, good topics, interesting things that it starts to rub off on you, right? They say that you really only change your life by the people you meet and the books you read. So if you can't physically be with the person, you can be with their words. And that's the cool thing about being with these ancient words that are super old. How could something this old still be relevant? And, this is something I've been doing for quite a while. So I wanted to talk you through some of that today, because I don't think it's fair to you. Some of you might see some of the things I'm doing as successful. And you're probably wondering, well, how did all that happen? And what do I need to do to get there as well? And I don't want to cheat you out of the process and not let you know that, in addition to trying to make money and drive Lambos and have Turo cars and, do all this stuff, real estate, whatever it may be, I also read my Bible. So maybe that just doesn't seem like something that would be interesting or cool, but for me, it's been super helpful. So try it out, see if it helps you, and maybe it will. So I want to show you kind of like how I do this, because I think this is important. So you can see, if you look at the screen there, I've got my personal Bible study notes. And I just go through and I make notes about what I'm reading. I go through and I don't make a note about everything. There are some chapters in the chapters in the Bible that are super boring, which has also been cool for me because I do this typically at night. So if I fall asleep, it actually will help you fall asleep, because some of these words, depending on what version you got, you're reading this stuff and it's like, thus thouest, it's like, before you know it, you're getting a great night's sleep. So that's another hack. But, I'm not like a tyrant about it. I'm not like, oh, I've got to read this and I got to. No, I'm very. I think it's something that is very beneficial to me, and so it is my routine to try to read this at night and take notes. I don't do it every single night. If you're with me and you don't see me reading the Bible one night, I don't want you to be like, oh, I caught you. You didn't do it. It's not that type of scenario. It's more so just like, there's a scripture in here that says this, but it's like food. It's like nourishment. It's like, okay, I need to build up my spiritual health, my spiritual mindset. And so this helps me do it. And so I don't just read, I also take notes. And so, the last part, of course, is to actually do and, what you're reading. But what I think is cool about this is that if you're taking notes and if you're studying and you're diving into this, right, then at some point it allows you it kind of starts to rub off on you, right? It's like if you read a recipe enough, at some point you start to learn what the recipe is. So I want to tell you where I'm at. Right now I'm in the book of Job in the Bible. And it's very interesting because Job goes through this thing. It's this story, ancient story, and this guy is like, according to the Bible, is this perfect guy, and he's basically doing every single thing right. He's super wealthy. He's got like, back in that day, like wealth was measured by like how many donkeys and cows and stuff you had. And he's got all this stuff. He's just, so much stuff is going for him. But then it all like stops. And it really sucks for him because it's like, he doesn't understand why it stopped. He thought he was doing everything right. And it turns out that, life sometimes just happens to you, whether you're doing right or not. And there's more in the story, but I'm just, making it easy to understand for us all. And so when you think about that, there's been some things in my life that are just hard to understand. Like, dang it, why did that happen? And so you wonder, is this like, I talked about this on another episode, is this bad energy? Do I need to get away from something? Like, what do I need to do? And this book is so cool because you see this guy go through all these things and there is nothing for him to do. There is no easy fix. There's nothing well, I need to, be nicer to my wife, or I need to da 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 da. He's already done everything. And so I think it helps us understand that you can do everything right in life sometimes and things still go wrong. And how do you deal with life when things go wrong? And this helps my mindset, because this is similar in business too. In business, you can do everything that you think is right to do. You can have an excellent mindset, and you could be, managing your money, and you could be meeting, and you could have a team that you're building, and things can still go wrong. And how do you deal with it when things still go wrong and it's not something that you're doing and it feels unfair and it's like, this sucks. But if you see a story that if this guy from hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, could deal with this and handle this, then maybe I can handle it too. And that's sort of the thought. And the part I'm at right now, this is literally where I'm at. I'm in Job 38:3. And here's the note I took. I said, be a man if you going to, and I'm doing this at night, if you're going to talk to God, isn't that what this tells us? So there's the verse as there talks about, it's like this in a literary sense, Job is like talking, and he's talking for chapters and chapters. His friends are talking. They're all trying to figure out what's going on. His friends are telling him he's messed up. He must have messed up. And then he's telling them, no, I haven't done anything. He's like, y'all ain't that good friends. I know just as much as y'all. It's like this fighting back and forth. And then finally, and he's like waiting on God to say something to him. And so towards the end of the book, God starts to talk to him. And the first thing God says is like, I thought was interesting in that, and look it up on your own, but I'll tell it to you exactly. In the King James Version, it says, gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. So it was interesting. Gird up thy loins like man. I don't know what, I haven't done the Hebrew study that a theologian would do on this. But what I took from that, and that's the note I took, is like, oh, sometimes if you're trying to talk to God or have you got to be a man about it. And what I mean by that is be tough. Be ready to not get the answer that you want. Be ready for things not to go exactly how you thought they should go. And, in life, life will toughen you up. Business will toughen you up. Entrepreneurship will toughen you up. You'll be like, why is this going this direction? But for me, I can go to this book. I can have this quiet time. And now when I get bad news from my banker, or one of my customers wrecks my car, or, you get an automatic withdrawal for $75,000 or something crazy. That sort of stuff can put you in a depression. You're like, God, why? And it's almost like in the rest of the chapter, he kind of, God just starts talking about, like, basically asking Job, do you understand why why the sky stops at a certain point and the land starts and the waters part? And it's like, whoa, like this thing is way beyond me. Right. And humans, like we are, if you believe this sort of thing, we are God's creation. And so it's like, if we do everything right and we try our hardest, sometimes things still won't go the way that we think they should and that we have planned. And the kicker is, and it's okay. Things may not go the way you want, and it's okay. You may lose everything, and it's okay. And I love this thinking because it helps my mindset. I now have folks that, I depend on folks, and folks depend on me to make sure I can pay them, support them, that I'm going to do what I said. Dealing with vendors, big numbers, or dealing with, employees, smaller numbers. Like, it's a lot of pressure. And I didn't know I guess it's one of those things you can't know until you go through it. But sometimes I have the thought, like, what if it all fails? What if it all stops? And I think that what I get from this verse biblically and what I think helps my mindset is that it's okay. You know, it's okay because, one, we have all the time there is available, right? We don't know what's happening tomorrow. So the fact that we have each moment is enough. And the fact that God allows us to breathe in and out and deal with these different responsibilities, these things that we busy ourselves with, it kind of puts things in perspective. Yeah, the business is important. Yeah, hitting the quarterly goal is important, but it's not as important as God. It's not as important in the big scheme of things. These little things that we think are such big issues, it's not. A dollar amount is small to a God that created the universe, right? So I just want to tell you that secret because it helps me. It's one of the things I use to build my mindset, which helps me build my business, helps me build the team around me. And so if you're not using that as a hack, then, I encourage you to think through that and if your mindset is, if you don't have that mindset that kind of can put things in perspective, then maybe reading your Bible more will help you do it. You're like, I know that seems counterintuitive. What does the Bible have to do with business? Well, for me, it has a lot to do with it. And it's helped my mindset. And I feel very grateful to God and the people he's brought in my life and the things he's made happen that I couldn't make happen. I always believe you do as much as you can and you let God do the rest. So I hope that helps y'all today. I want you to stay motivated. It's your boy, StephenMotivate. Until next time, peace.